Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video covering the brand new contract for the Mercenary Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank, the Rhino. If you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, this is the Rhino. It is part of the new contract that's come out alongside the Mantis, so you can pick either to do the Mantis or the Rhino. Did a video on the Mantis yesterday, so go check that out if you want to see what the Mantis is like. And yeah, the Rhino. Well, the Rhino is a damn solid Tier 8 Premium Mercenary Heavy Tank. It's got the Defender 122mm gun, the Carnarvon Action 10 turret, and the hull of a Tiger II, overall making a pretty damn nice tank to play. Obviously, this contract is going from the 17th of December to the 25th of February, so you've got a very good long time to be able to get this contract done. So what do you have to do for the stages? Well, stage 1 is win a battle, earn 2,400 or more XP in any number of battles, and you'll get some consumables, tier 5 to 10 in World War II and all eras in Cold War. Stage 2 is win a battle, place in the top 5 XP earners on your team in a battle, earn 3,600 or more XP in any number of battles, and you'll get some silver boosters, again tier 5 to 10, all eras. Stage 3 is destroy 2 or more vehicles while enemy is less than 100 meters in any number of battles, so basically being very up close and personal and brawling, so naturally your heavy tanks are going to be wanting to do this. And being up close and personal, brawling, and getting 2 kills while very close. Earn 6,500 or more damage in any number of battles, while earning also 7,200 or more XP in any number of battles, giving you a load of boosters, a bit of silver, and some consumables. Again, you must play heavies or tank destroyers, and it's available to tiers 5 to 10. At stage 4, deal 14,000 or more damage in any number of battles and earn 15,600 or more XP in any number of battles, and that gives you some consumables, some boosters, and a bit of silver. And again, tank destroyers 5 to 10, all eras. It really changes when we get to the higher stages of a contract, those tiers and eras. Block 9,000 or more damage in any number of battles, damage enemy modules or crews in any in 22 battles, and earn 33,600, we'll get there in the end. Earn 33,600 or more XP in any number of battles. 3 days of premium account, which is great. All the consumables and a bit of silver. Fantastic. Tier 6 to 10 now, and still all eras. Stage 6 is destroy 45 or more vehicles in any number of battles and earn 69,600 or more XP in any number of battles, and that will also give you some consumables and some silver, with must play heavy tanks or tank destroyers, and availables to tier 6 to 10. Stage 7 is destroy 100 or more vehicles in any number of battles and earn 148,800 or more XP in any number of battles, giving you 1.6 million silver. And now your only available tiers are tier 8 to 10, and all eras still in Cold War, and for the whole contract you've just got to play heavy tanks or tank destroyers, which is the opposite naturally to the Mantis, which is just light tanks and medium tanks. And then you've got stage 8 of the Rhino, which is earn 316,000 or more XP in any number of battles, and you'll get the Rhino, which obviously is a time sink, but just play normally, grind normally, and you'll get there eventually. You've got 2 and a bit months to do it, and you'll unlock yourself what is a fantastic tier 8 heavy tank. Now, if you do already own the Rhino, you will be getting 3.4 million silver, which is a nice little silver boon if you do already own it. So bear that in mind for when you're picking. And yeah, you can only play tier 8 to 10 again for the Rhino and all modes, or all eras, sorry, in Cold War mode. And if you're to buy it out, which I would not really recommend doing, seeing as you can get it for free, it will cost you quite a bit of gold, because obviously you've got to add all that together, and it will cost you a decent amount, more than the actual tank is worth as well. But on the whole, you can get it for free by just grinding out the contract. And again, it is a damn solid tier 8 premium heavy tank. So let's go have a look at the Rhino in the garage. So here it is. It's, like I say, a Tiger II hull, Carnarvon Action 10 turret, Defender, gun. So what do I run in terms of recruit and equipment? Well, in terms of the equipment, I run the advanced loader, the gun stabilizer, and optics. Optics to be able to get the 486 meters of view range. Gun stabilizer to get the accuracy during movement and rotation down as low as possible, so that this gun can be a bit more snappy, because naturally it is the Defender's 122mm gun, so it can be a bit derpy at times. You have the advanced loader to make the DPM as good as humanly possible as well. And then in terms of a crew, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Trap Mechanic, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Clutch Braking, and the Run and Gun. All 3 gun perks to make sure that the gun is as good as possible. Clutch braking to make the track traverse better because it is a bit slow to turn, this tank. So you want to kind of help the tracks out if you can. And then, well, these 5 perks you can take on every tank in World War II. So yeah, let's have a quick look at the modules of the Rhino for you. There's the engine block, as you can see. Again, if it gets shot in the back end, a lot of the time your engine does go in this vehicle, and it's quite a high chance of getting set on fire, as you can see with the 20% internal fire chance. So if it hits anywhere in that section, this thing does like lighting up. So you've got to be careful of that, the fact it does like get set on fire. And there's the ammo racks. So if you want to ammo rack this vehicle, it's very similar to the Tiger II in that way, that you want to shoot the bar of armor above the tracks, and that is where you'll damage and possibly pop the ammo rack as well. And that is where the crew sits in the Rhino, a little bit more comfy than the Mantis by looking at that. So let's have a look at the armor as well for you before we go into the statistics, because you might see a lot of these things knocking around on the battlefield these days. So how do you take this thing out? Cupola on top. You can see the spaced armor here can randomly absorb your shots as you go for this cupola, but if you are slightly above it, shoot this cupola, you will easily pen it. And if it's hull down, that's what you want to be aiming for. If it's hull down and you can't see the cupola, well, good luck, or fire premium through the underside of the gun. But at the same time, you're gonna have to be a tier 10 firing premium to do that, because the tier 8s won't do that. You want to try and aim for this cupola, and it's a Tiger II hull, remember, so the upper plate can bounce a good amount of shots, but the lower plate is Garbo, and you will pen the lower plate very easily. What you want to be doing in this thing is side scraping if you can, ricocheting shots off your side, while then slapping people with this big 122mm gun. So let's have a look at the statistics of the vehicle. So it's got a 38 km/h top speed with a 12 km/h reverse speed, 870 horsepower engine, which is 11.75 horsepower per ton ratio, 20% internal fire chance, like I say, so it does get set on fire a lot, and bear that in mind. You don't have the best power to weight in the universe, being a heavy tank, but you do sort of get up to that. I'd say generally when I'm running around, I'm generally getting up to 35 kilometers an hour, to 38 depending on the terrain. You got 1,580 hit points, which is a weird amount of hit points, but there we go. It's a nice amount to have as a tier 8 heavy. 26.16 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed with the build that I run means that the tank does turn very slowly, so the track traverse is a bit slow and a bit painful at times. Ground resistances aren't that great in terms of soft, but the medium and the firm don't really hold it back that much. Camo, no one cares, it's a heavy tank. 486 meters of view range means you can spot for yourself pretty handily in this vehicle. It's not the best out there, but it's also not the worst. 39.1 degrees a second on the turret traverse means the turret traverse is way, way faster than the hull, so bear that in mind, that your turret will be able to snap onto target way quicker than you'll be able to turn the tracks. You've got 0.84 accuracy during rotation, with 1.72 accuracy during movement with this build, which means that the accuracy during rotation is not too bad, and the accuracy during movement combined with it, again, it's not too bad for this kind of gun. So you can get this gun aimed in decently quickly from on the move and full traverse. You got 0.36 accuracy at 100 meters as well, which can be derpy. Like I say, this gun can be derpy. It is the 122mm BL13 gun from the Defender, or the Object 252U. Which means, like I say, it can be frustratingly derpy, so sometimes if it misses shots, it's because, yeah, it's not very accurate. 3.13 second aim time as well is pretty atrocious, but because its aim circle isn't that bad, you don't feel it all that much, realistically. You got a 10.5 second reload, which is 2.5k DPM with the build that I run, which is a bit slow, but you do slap for 440 alpha on this gun, which is absolutely beautiful, which is obviously why your DPM is average. It's not even bad, it's just average. 225mm of penetration on the AP with 1,000 meters a second shell velocity, with 265mm of penetration on the premium APCR, which has 1,250 meters a second shell velocity. So you've got average shell velocity on the AP with fantastic shell velocity realistically for this kind of gun, again on that APCR round, meaning the shells do travel pretty quickly, and it means that the gun handling, if you fire APCR, feels a lot better than you do when you fire standard. Like I say, this gun absolutely slaps. It's just occasionally the gun decides it never wants to hit things, and that's because it's this Soviet 122mm BL13. It hates hitting things sometimes, and then you hit the most stupid of shots and sit there going, how did I hit that? Oh, fine, okay gun. You know, it's one of those. You've got 150% silver bonus as well, which means this tank does make decent silver on this tank, which is, yeah, nice for the Rhino. It is a premium tier 8 premium tier 8 heavy tank, which means that, yeah, you can make decent credits and you can have a lot of fun with it, like I say, because the armor works well enough. It's got a Tiger 2 hull, which is fairly reliable at the tier. Even against tier 10s, you can bounce a decent amount off the upper plate if it's on flat ground. And then if you're side scraping, well, you've got that boxy shape of a German heavy tank, which means you can side scrape pretty well in this vehicle as well. If your lower plate is exposed, it's going to get penned relentlessly. The turret armor, like I say, is good enough to ricochet a lot of shots at tier 8. Once you're going against tier 9s and 10s and they're starting to fire premium through the front, they can do that. But tier 8s will have to shoot that cupola. So again, you can't just sit there thinking you're invulnerable while hull down, because your cupola is something that people can shoot. So you've got to be very, very careful of that. So yeah, that's the Rhino. It's a very good tank to pick up for free out of a contract. I really do enjoy this vehicle because I like how hard the gun hits. I like how I can get the armor to be fairly consistent at times. And I just love the ability to trade so well with tier 10s as well, because it's not like hitting them for 300 or 280 or whatever. You're hitting them for 440, which really lets them know you're there when you are having to trade like that. So without further ado, what I'm going to do now is send you into the replays where you can see this tank in action, see how it handles, and see if this vehicle is just a bit of you, because, like I say, it is a fun tier 8 heavy tank. You've got a conundrum. If you don't really have the time to do both contracts, you've got a conundrum on your hands, and you've really got to decide whether you like the stealthy pseudo-scout gameplay that the Mantis can pump out, or the nice brawly heavy tank things that this Rhino can do as well. So what I'm going to do now is send you into the replays where you can watch it in action, see if it's a bit of you. I will see you there. So here we are in the replays with the Rhino. We're in a tier 10 game on Severogorsk, and it spawned us down in this corner at J9. Now, I don't normally go this flank down the 9 line. I do like to go brawl in a heavy tank up at F3, in and around that area. But because it spawned us over here, I decide, okay, you know what? I am going to just go this way, go with the flow. So you've just seen a little bit there that I've just showed off, and that is that the gun depression on this vehicle is nice at 8 degrees of gun depression, and that makes you really flexible on a ridgeline. But you go down to 6 degrees when you look over the side, and you saw that happen, or you go over the little bumps over the front anyway. So you've got to be very careful with the gun depression on this vehicle, because sometimes you think, aha, I've got you, I've got the gun depression for this, and then your gun bumps up, and you go, oh, I don't have the gun depression for this. This is awkward. You know, it can be a little bit annoying. So it's just a little nuance to the tank that you've got to bear in mind. So you can see I've got a bit of support with me. I've got 2 heavy tanks and a TD. I've got two TDs going down on the low ground. So I've got decent cover with me. So we're going to poke round the corner here at E0 and feel fairly safe at doing it, because we could either find a load of people or not many at all. So we end up finding the 53 TP. And the 53 TP is stock. He instantly pens us through the track because we weren't very well angled, but the stock Tiger 2 doesn't pen us. The 53 TP is coming round again. He puts a shot through the drive wheel, tracks and pens us once again, and that's again because we just weren't at a very good angle to take the hits. But we do put a big shot through the Tiger 2. We damaged his ammo rack, and the poor Tiger 2 had his head blown off by an Orochi. What a poor dude. Well, he's just sad now. That Orochi's made him very sad. But we're up to 1600 damage. This 53 TP is a one-shot. The SMV doesn't manage to shut him down. So we finish off that Polish tier 8 tech tree heavy tank. The medium tank and the heavy tank, instead of turning around to face us, which is an E5 and a 59 pattern, have decided to carry on going straight forward towards the TD and the light tank. So we're going to just surround them, get them caught in a crossfire, and try and get some easy shots into them, hopefully, as they're looking the opposite way. We do get spotted as we're coming in, though. We've got to be careful, because that E5 naturally coming, turning around, shooting a Tiger 2 and a Rhino is going to have a field day if we're not careful, because an E5 is very, very good. So we are going to need the premium rounds, because 225 pen can pen an E5, but it's not guaranteed, whereas the 265 can still bounce, as you've just seen me hit the middle of the lower plate of the E5 there, which is, yeah, if you're aiming at the lower plate of the E5, you need to aim for the outside edges, like we've just done there, because the middle of that lower plate is random angles on it, which means you can ricochet. So, yeah, you've got to be careful where you're shooting on an E5. So, yeah, same as the E5, same as the E4, because of that weird boat-shaped hull, or the weird shaped hull in general, I should say. You just want to shoot the outside edges of the lower plate, and that's where you'll pen, because if you shoot it in the middle, that's where you're likely to ricochet. And it's the same on the E3 as well, but the E3 is way thicker. So, Mr. 59 pattern, oh, I was hoping for ramming speed, But sadly, we didn't get the ramming speed. And he got picked up by the Object 277. So we're looking to see if we can get a shot at the Lehman Russ, but we can't quite see the turret over the side. Well, we could, but we tried to hit it on the move. It didn't happen. We know where the last 5 of their tanks are. They're all basically up there on E3 and in and around that position. So instead of going in front of their guns, where our team is currently occupying at G3, we're going to go up behind them and try and make our way there. And as you can see, 38 kilometers an hour isn't too bad on this vehicle. I mean, I would always say that about average for a heavy tank at any tier is about 35 kilometers an hour. Once you hit 35 kilometers an hour, you don't have a bad top speed, but you also don't really have a good top speed, and we're only 3 kilometers an hour faster than that. I mean, if the gun handling is what I would fully recommend a spec for the gun handling, because like I said, the accuracy during movement rotation is atrocious if you do not run a gun stabilizer. But generally, if you feel like the gun handling is okay for you and you're not that bothered about that, you could run the traction system, and you would run at 41 kilometers an hour. It would also help with the track traverse, because the track traverse on this vehicle is poor, like I say, at that 26.16 degrees a second. So it could also help in that regard. It's down to you and how you feel comfortable playing the vehicle. I just get annoyed at the gun if I don't help it, because I even get annoyed at the gun when I have helped it. So you want to help it out if you can. So we finally got up behind this AVRE. I've got to be careful, because an AVRE is going to hit us hard like he just did to that dude as he penned him for 1,500. And, well, he could just YOLO us and pen us for 1,000 quite easily. So we get a shot into the side of the turret of the AVRE. It's like, hello, Mr. AVRE. Oh, he's going to be fairly mad. The T249 ends up having a driving fail. We'll go for the lower plate now of the E5. But we didn't pen. We actually tracked him. I'm not sure how or why, but there we go. We've got the lower plate, or sorry, the rear of the AVRE, sorry, as we shut down that AVRE there, for that 3.6k damage, 760 blocked as well. Thankfully, the AVRE didn't actually delete us. Finished the game with a really nice total there for the tank in a tier 10 game. First class for 1,602 base XP. A pretty nice game there for the Rhino, which, like I say, is a damn solid tank. It slaps so hard. It's very nice for that. And as long as you can keep the gun in check, you'll have a good time with it. And if you get into a brawling map like this, for example, and you can start side scraping, things like that, you'll have a good time. Because naturally, being a Tiger 2 hull, it does have the same weaknesses as a Tiger 2, in that if you're quite out in the open, you're quite easy to track and pen, your lower plate is poor, but if you get it in a nice city brawl, and you're angling, you can ricochet shots off your upper plate, you can side scrape pretty nicely, as well as having these side skirts on the side that help that as well. If you go hull down, and that's the thing, you've got this BL-13 gun that's 440 Alpha, which is on most of the other Soviet, well, is on mostly on Soviet vehicles, right? Which means they've got really bad gun depression. So having 8 degrees of gun depression with this gun is so super satisfying at tier 8. It really, really is. And having a turret that's fairly durable as well on those ridge lines can be damn handy for this tank. So, the second replay, like I say, is on Ruinberg, which is a pretty nice map for us. We see the Panther 88 on the corner, and then the AMX-65T, and it's like, hello, Mr. AMX-65T, if you're going to push around the corner, I'm going to stay here so that it makes it harder for you to get a shot at me, but he's getting detected when he's poking around the corner, so he's not really chancing it. We put a shot through his upper plate. Bad choice to just drive out around the corner there, and we do get lucky that he bounces. We could have done that a little bit better. He fires at my friend, which means that, well, I can just do it anyway. We put him 369 giggity, and we put him down to a 1 shot now. And he's driven around the corner into our friends, who end up shutting down. We've got a shot at the lower plate of the Lurver, which we put in for 439. Now, we've got to be careful of that Lurver, because he is firing premium, which means that he has very good penetration, and he could go through us a little bit easily. I drive around the corner like an idiot. Again, should be side scraping at this point, because we would have more chance of ricocheting his shots. So we end up trading shots there, where it was a needless trade. We didn't have to trade that. But just as I realised the Lurver was about to fire there, and it's something you always get, that feeling that they are about to fire, I went, okay, I'm going to turn now, and thankfully he hit my tracks and thus didn't pen me, and we ricocheted, well, he tracked us only. So we're side scraping now off this wall, which is where I want to be. The Lurver tries to shoot us and bounces. The Jackal actually ricocheted a couple of shots off us as well. And we put another shot through the lower plate of the Lurver there. Our ISM just goes balls to the walls aggressive into that Lurver. We start getting shot in the side by the Panther 88. So I was really hoping to shut down the Lurver, but we ended up putting the Jackal down, and that Panther 88 is in a position where he could just keep farming us and we're going to struggle to pen him. So I go around the corner, shut down the Lurver, getting myself safe from the Panther 88 while also helping out my ISM, who was really struggling with that Lurver, because he really didn't need to face up that guy. If he face up the Lurver, he's boned. He really needed to stay a bit further back, just aim a shot at the lower plate and he would have killed that guy. But we do manage to get a shot into the SU-8 as well, securing a kill on that guy. We're up to 3 kills with 3.3k damage. Get a shot straight through the side of the Panther 88, who gave us a nice shot in the side there. And I see the Ballsig, and I'm like, Mr. Ballsig, I've got 68mm of penetration and 530 alpha. If I pen you with this HE round, oh boy, you better believe I'm coming. Because that HE round is going to hit you hard. I see he's got the big gun. I come around the corner, limiting as much as I can of him to shoot. He ends up taking a big hit from me for 541. He actually ends up deleting the Ragnarok with a heat round. That was you can tell the difference between the big gun and the small gun on the Ballsig, because the big gun is actually small. Oxymoron, I know. So the big gun on the Ballsig, as you will see in a second, is really small and stubby. Right there, and that means he's got 750 alpha, so you've got to be very careful of that. He's got lower pen though, but he's got 750 alpha and it will hurt, whereas the 128 is much longer. It will still hurt because it's 490 alpha, sorry, but yeah, it's much longer than the stubby short barrel of the big gun, so that's something to note on the Ballsig. We finished with the epic victory, 4 kills, 4.6k damage, 1200 blocked, good credits as well, 129,000. Ace Tanker Pascuchis, high caliber, the Sniper, the Steel Wall for 1902 base XP. A very nice game there for the Rhino, which was in a good matchup and on an ideal map, realistically. I'd say that Severagorsk game was more representative of it if you play it well on a map that is not suited for it, because I don't think Severagorsk is really suited for the content that the Rhino is, where it wants to be either hull down or side scraping off of cover, so that you're limiting everything about the vehicle so that they have small targets to shoot, right? We're on to the third and final replay of this video, and we are here on this map, which is Cliff. And on Cliff, what we're going to do is go to the position at E6, because I can go hull down there and I can try and shoot the people as they cross their GHJ line. It does take a bit to get there in the Rhino, but it's a good position to fight, and if not much help or cover goes this way, we can just go around the lighthouse as well, and that way we can have cover from one side with the big cliff face, right? So we're seeing where their team's lining up. A lot of their team have gone up the H line. We've got a lot of people with us, so we've got a good amount of support, which is always nice, because the thing that can happen with Cliff is obviously a lot of your team can end up sitting on the 1-2 line, and that's the best way to lose this map. If you have too many people sitting on the 1-2 line, it can be curtains very quickly, whereas it can go either way if you have enough people go up here. So we get a nice shot into the side of the Oh-Ho, setting him on fire. Oh, that poor guy is burning. Oh, just, yeah, we'll take that fire every single day. Is he going to give us another shot in the side? We can't quite find it, but we do get a shot into the side of the hammer, damaging his ammo rack, and I'm thinking, his ammo rack's still damaged. Maybe I can pop this tiger's ammo rack. So we're going for the shot, and we didn't actually pop his ammo rack there. I really actually should have aimed a little bit higher, because that's where the ammo rack is. It's in behind that upper plate, but we actually tried to snap the shot into the tracks and ended up just, well, penning it, which we'll take, right? We'll take, but, you know. So we get a shot into the lower plate there of the Tiger 2. We damage his engine, which again is something that does happen with the Rhino because it's the Tiger 2 hull. If you get shot in the lower plate, the engine can go as well, so be careful of that. Put a shot into the T20, putting him down to a one-shot, and I load APCR. Why? Cupola of the VK101P. I can't pen it with 225 pen. I can pen it fairly reliably with APCR. But we can also go through the upper plate of the Tiger 2 when it's angled down, because you might think, well, you said Tiger 2 can bounce tier 10s, right, on the upper plate. If they're firing standard, yeah, it can. But not when it ends up being flat. And what that Tiger 2 had ended up doing was angling his tank down, so that upper plate was actually flat on for me, which means that naturally it's only its raw thickness at that point, which is 160mm of thickness, and it makes the armor effectiveness way worse. So we're going for the cupola here of that VK101P, and like I say, with 265 penetration, we can go through that lower plate, sorry, not lower plate, that cupola, lower plate on the brain. that cupola very easily with the APCR. We just have to hit it. But the problem with the VK101P is they can make it quite difficult to hit it, obviously, by just keep moving. And that's what you want to be doing in the VK. Just keep moving, don't sit still. And that way it can end up meaning that you can actually ricochet a fair amount of shots off that cupola because of the roundedness of it. You have to hit it dead center with the round, and if it hits the left or the right of that cupola, it will just ricochet, and that can be a bit awkward. So their team is currently pressuring our team at D8. So what, again, I'm going to do is cause a crossfire. I'm going to get up behind these heavy tanks and try and turn the tide of the battle by distracting them and getting stuck in. So there is the BL-13 gun. Whole ass of the Lioness. And nope. No. We hit the dirt because RNG giveth and RNG taketh. We see the OHO instantly go for APCR because, again, the standard round is going to struggle with an OHO, whereas the APCR gives us a chance because even the standard round might, sorry, not even the premium round might struggle with this OHO, as proven by ricocheting off his lower plate. We should try and shoot the boobies because the boobies are a bit of a weak spot for the OHO. It makes it a little bit easier to go through. As you can see right there, we go through the little turret on the front, and that pens the OHO, putting him down to a one-shot. Just waiting on the reload now, because the OHO is making it as easy as possible for me, and we shut down the OHO there. Again, if the OHO just kept moving, kept wiggling, it would have been very difficult to actually get the shots where I needed to be able to pen that guy, and we would have struggled a bit more to be able to kill the Japanese Tier 8 heavy tank. So we're up to 5.1k damage with 3 kills, 2.3k blocked. We saw the G-Saw had come up on top of the ridgeline, so I'm just hoping to see if we can get a shot into him. We actually managed to lock on there because he poked round the corner of that building. But there we find the 53 TP. Aiming at the upper plate, the 53 TP, because the lower plate is actually a bit of a troll shot on that tank, in the fact that you can ricochet quite a few shots off the lower plate of the 53 TP, but you're more likely to actually pen the upper plate. It's one of those tanks that's a bit odd. The TS5's here, and it's like, hello, Mr. TS5. We put a shot through his cupola on top, which we can pen with 225 pen, but we start side scraping off of this destructible cover. Now, we've got to be careful, because naturally, if he starts destroying the destructible cover, we're going to be out in the open for the TS5, and his penetration is not going to have trouble with our lower plate. But since he's backing off, we are going to close the distance and make it as easy as possible for us to get the shots. Just aiming it in, and you can see the aim time here. And actually, from full chat on the move and rotation, you can see that, like I say, the aim circle isn't even that bad on the Rhino, realistically, which means that even though you do have a poor aim time at 3.13, it doesn't feel all that atrocious. So we go for the kill shot there on the TS5, and sadly we end up ricocheting instead of hitting his cupola. The MX-AC-46 is out in the open. We put the shot through the MX-AC-46, finishing him off, securing our 4th kill of the game for a very nice total there in the Rhino. We finished with the victory, 4 kills, 6.6k damage, that 2.2k base XP, 3.5k blocked, 202,000 damage, silver, sorry, ace tanker, steel wall, high caliber, for the 2.2k base. Very nice game there for the Rhino, Tier 8 Mercenary Premium Heavy Tank that you can get for free in a contract if you want to pick it up. Like I say, it's a very good heavy tank at Tier 8. Very capable of blocking a good amount of damage and also just pumping out damage with this fantastic 440 Alpha gun. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success!